Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back in today for another list, and today I'm very excited to get you back in a time capsule again to go to Essen 2013, and we're going to take a look at the top 10 games that were released at Essen 2013, where they rank now in 2022, and a huge shout out to Emil de Matt, aka Purple, the BGG admin who assembled this, the Essen 2013 ranked games list. But let's get into it without further ado. Starting off at number 10, we have Francis Drake, which is still currently rated as the number 523 game of all time. Privateers wrangle to fit out in port, then set sail for adventure in the Caribbean. Very enjoyable game. I like that game an awful lot. The designer is Peter Hawes. Oh, I didn't know he did Triassic Terror. Let's check out what he was in. Like, how was he in 2013? Was this a game that people had a lot of buzz about? So we go back to 1994. Wow, Colonial Diplomacy, 5272. Head of State, 2008, 6200. War of the Roses, 1389. So that one was really popular when it came out. Triassic Terror, I like that game. I still own that game. And then this one looks like this is his big break here. Francis Drake is his coup. Even though Royals, I will say, was remade. That was part of the Dice Tower Essentials line as well. And I don't know if Francis Drake is still in print, but it's a great game. And a great start off to our list. The number 10 game released in Essen 2013, Francis Drake, not Robinson Crusoe. Moving on to number 9, we have Madeira. Please the crown, feed your people, thrive, all without resorting to piracy too often. This one was released by Nuno Bizarro Sentiero and Paulo Soldale. Let's see where they were in their designer career at that time. All right, going to the year's release, 2013. This was the first one. Wow, they came out swinging. So they had Brazil, which only has 16 ratings, so I'm not really taking that one into consideration. But yeah, first one out the gates, top 500 game, Madeira. Good for them. Then they released Reis de Portugal and Panamax. Wow, they did Panamax and Pawn. So they have another game in the top 500 as well. So 2 top 500 games. Awesome. Then we have Paulo here. Let's see. They look to be co-designers as well. They worked on many of the same things. Very, very cool. So this was probably one of those hidden gems of the show. Awesome. Is it still in print? Are people still talking about it 2 years ago, 8 years ago, 8 years ago? I don't know if this one's still in print. Question regarding the solid bits. Kickstarter moving to it. Oh, so they did a Kickstarter. Horrible Kickstarter campaign. Well, that's a different video right there. But still, relevant game to this day. Reprinted. Awesome. Madeira, number 9. Moving on to number 8, we have Americo! Discover islands, build settlements, and uncover goods and treasures. And this is a Stefan Feld, one of the most prolific and famous game designers of all time. And as you can see, he was fresh off of Castles of Bergency, Trajan, Bora Bora, just so many games. And number 16, 103, 236, 291, 326, 338. Numerous games in the top 500. So I imagine when this was released, people were massively excited for this, as they are still massively excited for Stefan Feld games, which is just a testament to how amazing of a game designer he is. And very cool. I mean, easy peasy lemon squeezy. That one lived up to the hype, and it's still the number 409 game of all time. But for Essen 2013, only the number 7. We got 6 games better than that. Let's get to number 6. It's Bruxelles. Manage your workers to help usher in a new era of culture and progress in Brussels. I have never heard of this game. Either that or I just mispronounced it terribly. And so I didn't realize. So this is a redoing coming out in 2023. So this one is still live. Why a big box and not just an expansion? So so it looks like it's the second edition of it. Okay. And it's still the 341st most popular strategy game right now of all time. But let's check out where the designer was in their career when they released this one. Bruxelles 1893, Bruxelles 1897. So this was their first. Wow, this was their first game release, and they came out swinging. 2 first-time game designers in the bottom 5 of the top 10 for Essen 2013. Awesome. I bet this one was a pleasant surprise for many, many people. Very cool. Moving on to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 6. Yes, Glass Road. I might have miscounted. I think this was 6. That was 7. Glass Road Once again, Uwe Rosenberg. Uwe Rosenberg, and I got to tell you, Stefan Feld, they dominate this list. They just dominate this list. I've been doing, I think I've done about 5 of these now, and I just keep coming across them. And Uwe Rosenberg, obviously one of the most prolific and famous game designers of all time. He has 6 games in the top 100. Like, that's insanity. There's like 50 to 60, I think there's tens of thousands of games that are rated on Board Game Geek. Just games that were out there that people played and people enjoyed or people hated, whatever. And 6 of his, now granted 5 here because 1 is a revised edition, are the 100 best games of all time. Like, that is just absolute genius, game design level. When you can do that. It's just, so I imagine Glass Road, people were massively hyped about it, and it's the 285th game, most popular game of all time still. This one, that being said, I don't hear too much about Glass Road. I think this one kind of gets lost in the shadows with a lot of his other games that, which is going to happen when you have that many amazing games. But still, number 6 game. Moving on to number 5 of Essen 2013, we have Rococo, which was reprinted. Because no, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. Oh no, it was. There was Rococo, and then there's the Rococo Deluxe Edition. I'm gonna guess this one was a Kickstarter. A big fancy Kickstarter. Yep. That's what they do. That's what the Eagle Griffin does. 2 to 5, 60 to 120 minutes to play. Let's see the Kramers. Oh, Kramer, Miles, and Miles. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it. So a triple team on this one. And wow, they did Glenn Moore. Okay. Glenn Moore, very high regarded game. 400, 167, 396, 135. And then Rococo sitting at 247. So I imagine there was quite a good deal of hype for this game. And that's always cool to see. Okay. All right. It seems like this was a really great year for Euros there. Which, that's typically what Essen is. Moving on, though, to number 4. A game that I still own and I still enjoy. I think it might be a bit highly ranked, honestly, at 233. But that's Lois and Clark, The Expedition. That's neither here nor there. Because it still stands the test of time. It's one of those games where I just don't think you're going to commit to taking the time to learn it unless you're going to like it, and then in which case you'll like it, which I guess is a testament to how good the game is, because there's a lot of games that I've taken the time to learn and that I didn't like them, so you know what ifs. Anywho, it's for 1 to 5 players, and this one by the designer Cedric Chaboset. Let's see where he was in his gaming career back in 2013. I always wanted to play that, Discoveries, the Journals of Lois and Clark. That came out, So he had his first. So that was his first game design, top 200. Second one, coming back with Lois and Clark, top 1,000, and then it looks like has not been able to capture the same popularity of the first 2. Oh, this is the first 3, I'd say. Well, Shamans is a new one, $37.99, $42.76. They're not bad. It's once you start getting to like the 10,000, 12,000, where most people don't like the game. It's just there's so many games out there. I mean, to set yourself apart is amazing. And Lois the Clark, The Expedition, this one I do think is out of print, I do believe, and I don't really hear too many people talk about this game, even though I do think it's a really solid game. Moving on to number 3, though, we have Nations. When this one came out, I remember this one being a big buzz about this one. We got 3 designers here. Steer the fate of your nation from the ancient world until the outbreak of World War I. And I will say I played this one time, and I really enjoyed it the one time I did get to play it. And it's currently the number 181 most popular game of all time. Let's check out in 2013. So Nations. Before that, we have the Drupal, the card game, Hiroshima Hex promo. Okay, interesting. Expansion. And so this was their first real game design, excuse me. And then Nations, the dice game, came out. Okay. So pretty much just Nations was the bread and butter here. Then we got Hungry and Hex Roller. Okay. And breaking out of the wheelhouse. So this one was probably a very pleasant surprise for a lot of people. First time game designer for the most part. Oh, unless there's more here. Nope, looks to be co-designers. Design team. Awesome. Crushed it. Third most popular game of Essen, 2013, Nations. Still standing the test of time at the number 181 game. In a game that I imagine is going to be reprinted in the next few years. I could definitely see that. And maybe they'd even have the Kickstarter have the dice game as well. So you could reprint both at the same time. Anywho, moving on. Number 2, Russian Railroads. And we broke it into the top 100. The number 99 game of all time was released at Essen 2013, but it was not the number 1 game of all time released at Essen 2013. But still number 2. That's solid. Designer Helmut Oni and Leonard Lonnie Orgler. Let's see where they were in their careers. Boom. Year released. Hit me with those year released. Are they co-designers? It looks like 21 and 21. Was that what I saw? So 21 and 24. Maybe not. Let's go to 2013. So we had 10,392. So it looks like they're really dabbling in the 18 games. The 1844, that one, ooh, at 3,862. If an 18XX game is that highly rated, that tells me that's probably a pretty dang good game. So lots of 18, and then we get to 1848, 18. Then we got Poseidon, 1880, and then Russian Railroads is really where it hits big. And I wonder, I played Russian Railroads, I believe, once, and I enjoyed the game. I don't really remember the game that well, but I wonder how closely it resembles an 18XX game. If they just, like, gateway-ified an 18XX game, or what made this game so immensely popular. Because I remember that when it came out, there was tons of buzz around it. Look at that! Oh my gosh, I want to play that game. I want to play that game right now. I just don't want to read the rules. I want somebody to teach it to me. Is this one still in print? Still getting buzzed 7 days ago? Is it overrated? Go back, replay it. That's a great idea for a segment. I should do something like that as well. I guess I have before, actually. Anywho, number 2 game of your Essen 2013. Now, the number 1 game of Essen 2013 is a little bit of a controversy. I am going to claim that it is Caverna. And the main reason why is that Concordia was listed on the 2012 Essen releases, which makes me believe that it was released at the 2012 Essen, because, I mean, it was on the list. However, I think this is one of those things where they kind of retconned it, and maybe they had so few copies in 2012 that they just pushed it into 2013 so that way it could get nominated for things. I wonder if that's the condition. But anywho, honorable mention to Concordia, which is the 19th most popular game of all time. But I'm going to go to a game instead that I'm going to call the number 1 game of Essen 2013. And that is Caverna, the Cave Farmers. Once again, Uwe Rosenberg popping his head back up in here. Second time on this particular list. And for my personal... Man, if this does not even have... Wow, it doesn't even have Caverna on there. That's ridiculous. So 35 and 35 from a simple cave expander dwarf and home through mining, agriculture, and more. Tons of components. And I imagine... I don't have to imagine, because I do remember that this was just absolutely positively hyped. I remember seeing pictures after the fact of people playing this game and getting excited about this game. I didn't realize it went up to 7 players, which is pretty awesome as well. And I can't imagine that this thing is out of print. I have to imagine that they just keep printing this, and you could probably go buy it on Amazon right now if you wanted to, and I would recommend it. It's a really fantastic game. But those are the top 10 games of Essen 2013. So let me know what you think about the list. Let me know your favorite game of the 10 if you'd like, or if you'd like to see a different list in the future, please let me know. Also, if you enjoy this content, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below as I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers, celebrate my 10-year anniversary of making YouTube content. But as always, thanks for your time, and bye-bye.